Hello and welcome. This is Michael here, and I am coming to you from I Love Real Estate. And today, what we've got is a podcast, a very special podcast of a new series that we're actually bringing out to everyone who is following I Love Real Estate. Now, at the moment, what I've done is I've taken over this YouTube channel while Dymphna is away having a bit of a sailing adventure. She's taken the time out because she can. Why? She's replaced her income. She can choose to go to work, not go to work, and obviously she likes to keep everyone in contact with her regular updates on the market, and she will certainly be back shortly. But in the meantime, I have a very interesting story about one of the I Love Real Estate community students. Now, her name is Fung, and we're going to put that on right now, and I'm going to come back on at the end and give you a bit of a wrap up to see exactly how you found this session. Now, let's just cut straight into it. She's just going to come on and take a little bit of an insight into her story and what she's been able to accomplish using and applying the training that Dymphna teaches. It's a fascinating interview. It's a lot of fun too. She's a great laugh. So get into this and we'll come back on at the end. We do have one very amazing student here, Foong, who's actually shared her story at the I Love Real Estate Super Conference a few years ago. It was very entertaining. You can see the full one up on the iloverealestate.tv website. But today, we're going to find out what she's been up to and also a bit of an overview about where she's from. Foong, how are you doing? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's light me up.
Light you up.
Light me up. We're all ready to go. Okay, where do you want me? Am I alive now?
Yeah, you're alive. I know you're alive.
Checking. I don't want to talk to myself. That will be a bit boring. Okay, hi all. You probably see me putting a fair bit of Facebook thing lately about property that we bought and so on. Just give you a little bit of background of myself. I'm originally from Malaysia, so I've been in Australia since 1993. Oh my God, that's so long. I feel like dinosaur. Oh my gosh. I actually live in Australia longer than in my own country. Can you believe that? So I came here to study, and then after that I got into pharmacy because I couldn't get into medicine, and that is the fallback as a pharmacist. So then we always been brought up as an Asian kids is always work hard, study hard, get a good job, then get a house and then get married and all that. So basically study hard and get a good job. That has been imprinted in our mind since we were kids. So I study hard, I got a job, and I work hard for it. So I literally work more than average people. I work about 60 to 80 hours a week. And because of that, I make myself a really good income as a young pharmacist. And because of that as well, I have to pay a lot of tax. And tax is so rude. Like I remember when I first started the job, the accountant said to me, he said, Foong, there's two things that guarantee in your life. I look at him, was like, back then I was 20. I was like, what can you guarantee in life? He said to me, death and tax. I was like, wow, that's wonderful. I just 20 and you tell me that I'm going to die and I have to pay tax. And he was right, actually paying tax. I pay a lot of tax. So I went to see a private accountant and said, look, what can I do to minimize my tax? And all he said to me is buy negative gear property. And because I knew nothing about it, so I just went out and started buying a lot of negative gear property. And I make sure I pay the most and to make it as negative gear as possible. And that was my strategy. So when I met my husband, I make sure that he is on the same page with me as well to say, look, you either buy negative gear property with me or we cannot go out together. So he did. So we combine our income. Back then would be close to 250,000. And just imagine the tax we have to pay. We actually spend a lot of money buying a lot of negative gear property to a point where we accumulated 14 negative gear property with a negative cash flow of 70,000 a year. And that 70,000 is after tax money. So you can imagine how deep the shithole we dig ourselves into. And it took us a very long time to climb back out, a long time.
So you were both going down, you both got sold on the negative gear, and you wouldn't go out with him unless he was going to buy negatively geared properties?
Yeah, I actually said to him, because when I first met him, he was into share. And I said to him, like, dude, we can't get out, we can't go out together, because if we are not on the same page, especially my page, is we are not in the same interest. So he ended up having to sell all his share portfolio, get his money and buy negative gear property. So I guess, you know, it is my fault that I make him do that. But it is a lesson to learn. We learn from our mistake and then we move on.
And just out of interest, how did you get the properties? Like, did you like do it yourself? Were you advised by an accountant, or how did you get sucked in? Just so that, you know,
man, that is such a painful way. So no, actually that was a really easy way to get sucked in. So we went to a third party. They say you can join us for free. All right, so we joined them, and what they do is they would sell you property. See, that's how I get brought out from them. Is like they sell property to us. So they are more like a middleman that selling property for the builder or the developer and mark it out and sell it to us. And they try to sell the concept of doubling in price of your property, and also try to sell you the idea of negative gear because you can get your tax back. So because of that, we kind of tick all our boxes. Okay, negative gear, tick. You know, property will doubling in 10 years, tick, right? But it did not doubling. The reason I tell you why it did not doubling is because we were buying end of the line product. So it's already been maximized. There is nothing that you can do other than a legal pet. You can't subdivide. You cannot, you know, increase the growth of it. And we bought into a lot of apartment and resort style property, and that is a worst, because can you imagine the strata that you had to pay for a resort style unit? I think there was a unit we actually pay more than 3,000 per quarter just for the strata fee, and that just eating your profit. And but hey, look, it's negative gear, fantastic. You know, you get your tax back, but what's the point? So it took me a long time to understand that until I met Dymphna. Like that penny just dropped. After I met Dymphna, it's just like, wow, you know, that is just eye-opening.
So why did you decide? Like, what were there some things that happened when you were like came to a point where it's like, I've got to be able to just change? What happened for you to actually to look into and to find the ILRE real estate community in Dymphna?
Well, when the first time I met Dymphna was through Facebook. She was advertising a few things. So I rocked up to the one day of a seminar. I was sitting at the back row, like, you know, it's typical Asian. Like, we don't sit at the front row, we sit at the back because me not speak English, just in case she pick on me. So I sat at the back, crossed my arm, and she said, oh, negative property is a wrong thing to do, and so on and so on. So I was like, look, I've been buying negative gear property for the last, 10 years. What make you think that is wrong, right? Because I was in so deep in there that I couldn't even see the lights. I couldn't even see there is another way to make money. So, but then when she explained that of the whole day boot camp, and you suddenly realize that what I have done for the last 10 years was so wrong, and I signed up on spot. Pay her the money, sign up, went back to tell my husband about it. Sadly, he didn't talk to me for many days because he thought that it is another thing that someone wants to sell you the property, but it's not. Like, she's selling you the knowledge, and she's selling you the hope that you can turn everything around and start again. And that's exactly where I am now. So it is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Were there things happening in your life as well at the time that kind of forced, kind of encouraged you?
I was was looking for a way out, because you know how we were so negative gear for 70,000 every year. And then to make it worse, my mom actually got diagnosed with cancer, and she was back in Malaysia, not resident in Australia. So I had to fly her over here to do treatment. And the whole treatment costs 80,000. And I had to draw that out from our line of credit to support her through the whole treatment process. And that really hurts. Like, it hurts financially and mentally and just emotionally, because mom passed away after that. So not only we lost her, we lost extra 80,000 on top. So at that time, I was really looking for a solution of how to get ourselves out of debt. We literally have debt. So it sounds so great to tell people that I have 14 property, and everyone's just like, wow, 14, you done so well. But they forgot to ask you, have you made money? We did not. We actually make a loss. So that's when I found Dymphna, because I know that if I decided to do nothing, we probably will lose our house. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. And did you have a chat with Dymphna about your situation?
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for the reminder. So I signed up. Then I talked to Dymphna after she off the stage. So I explained to her my situation. And the first thing she looked into my eyes, she said, Foong, you have to sell 14 of the negative gear property. It was like, I didn't even know how to respond, because they were my trophy, you know, that they were the trophy that I was showing off to people to say how well I have done. That is my ego. And Dymphna has actually put a dent in my ego and say, you have to sell it in order to get out of it. So I'm a bit slow learner. So it took me 4 years to clear all that 14 negative gear property. But, you know, really thanks to her, because all this time when I look at her, it's like, you blonde chick, you know nothing about negative gear property, but you know, this blonde chick is amazing good. She's amazing. Trust me, Michael.
I don't need to trust you, I know, but I know what you're saying, yes.
Yeah, she is good. She just told me, you have to sell it. I look at her, it's like, why? Why am I selling this for? Like, I'm showing off with, they are my medals. And, you know, like you go to Olympic, you collect medals. And that they were my medals that showing off to everyone. And, but, you know, I took her advice, which is great.
Absolutely, absolutely. Cool. So, so then what happened then? I mean, obviously you had to kind of like start to change and obviously it took 4 years. Where did you first start off? What were the kind of the deals you started to get into? Or what was your first deal that you started?
Okay, so in order to get rid of that 14 properties, some of them were quite old. So I ended up spending a bit of time renovate that myself. So I actually learned renovation through my own negative gear property first. So we did a lot of interstate renovation as well. And then after we managed to clear most of the negative gear property, we decided to do a JV with a local student back in Adelaide. And that's exactly how the journey starts. So we started doing JV back in 2018, I think end of 18. And since then, we're just doing JV deals all the time. And we're only doing reno and flip. So that is our strategy, because we need to create a fair bit of chunk cash. And the JV that we have, they're also after a chunk cash. So that works out quite well, because we know that when we get in, we can get out very quickly.
Very good, very good. And just one thing I wanted to kind of just maybe just jog your memory on is you had some kids at the time as well, didn't you? How did they kind of like how did
I try to forget them. Why do you bring that up? I try to not to remember them, and you just, oh man, all right, they're going to your house tonight. I don't care. Yeah, so back then the other reason is not only my mom was sick, I got 2 boys under 3. So because the hours that I work was quite a long hours, so I hardly see them. So the whole purpose of getting married and having kids is having a family. But back then I didn't even physically have time to have family time. So that is the other key reason why I was looking for solution to give me my time back. And then that's all I was after. I want my time back. I do not want to sell my time for money to pay for my negative gear property. So Michael, when would you like to have my boys?
Well, now hang on. What do you mean by that? How do you view them like you want to get rid of them?
Yes, just like puppy. Currently they're liability. You can't even, share your profit to them. So maybe I'll take them back when they're 18.
So what are you gonna are you gonna rent them out? Are you?
Yes. You can rent your husband and rent a wife. Now you can rent the kids out as well.
Very good, very good. So now there wasn't just a question about you were doing a reno and a flip for a chunk deal. Is that was just to clarify that point? Yeah, that was the first thing. And did that then kind of like become your? I mean, what happened? Was that it became your cookie cutter, or what happened from there?
So reno and flip is reno and flip to create chunk deal is our cookie cutter strategy, because I remember Dymphna always say about cash cow and chunk deal. So we decided to go down that path to do a chunk deal. So our cookie cutter strategy is quite simple. We buy something that is not very pretty. In other words, it's ugly. But then we are quite specific. We after some sort of character's home. In Adelaide, you can find a lot of bungalows, Tudor style home and all that. So we kind of fine-tune our strategy a little bit more, just not simply every renovation that we do. We will pick what the market is really looking for. We tend not to renovate a 70, 80, that era house. We tend to renovate 1920s, 1910, that sort of vintage. So that received a really good response from the market. And as you know, in Adelaide, is all brick. So, anything that built back then is double brick. So, so you need to factor that cost in there, because it costs more to renovate a double brick home than a gyprock home.
Absolutely, yes. I think Dymphna's term is that stone. Everything in Adelaide is stone.
When she said, "What do you buy in Adelaide?" Everyone said brick, and she said, "You bloody Adelaide people, everything is brick." I remember she said that.
Absolutely, yeah, she does indeed. She does indeed. So, just when you got into the training, was this kind of like a specific part that kind of impacted you a lot, that changed your perspective? Because obviously, you said that you had to overcome your ego. Was there a part of the training that helped you?
Yes, as soon as I signed up, I attended the boot camp. So talking to people really helped. They actually give you a lot of inspiration and what is possible out there. Because I was so conditioned to the mindset that negative gear is the only way to go, and to get myself out of that hole is a big hole to come out. And of course, you have that negative thought about the whole process, but talking to the student, it helps. And I think what really changed me is after I attend the millionaire mindset, and that has changed the whole way how I look at things. From life to business to opportunity to future. So that really changed the outlook. And then going to super conference, that is the next level. That's the next level of everything. I mean, I was there back in 2019, and the vibe that you receive from all the students, all the contestant and all that is just something that you can't buy, and that is something that you have to experience, and that will just change how you're going to improve yourself. And I was there, and I already said to myself, if that person can do this, why can't I do this? You always ask yourself question, why? Because the why will lead you to how, and the how will lead you to the action. So that is the very simple few words I always ask.
Yeah, Mick and Tandra just said, so true. Millionaire Within is an outstanding event. Yep. Absolutely. You also mentioned, I think, what is your next goal? Can you expand a little bit on how you think about that?
My next goal.
Yeah, you have the viewpoint. You should ask yourself, what is your next goal? Because you went there and you shared your story on stage, and then at the end of it, what what did you run into, and what were you kind of looking at from there? What happened after as a consequence of that, of sharing your story?
Yeah, because after the super conference, I've seen a lot of students present their story. Then I asked myself, okay, I've done this. I've done renovation. I've done the flip. Done the Chandio project and so on. What else can I do? So I look at all the students who presented. Then I set myself a goal. So like, okay, I want to be like her, right? I think one of the students presented really well. So I want to be like her. I want to see what she has been doing, and I want to follow her footsteps. And that opens up our next arms of business is going into development. So initially our goal was just do reno and flip, and that was our 5-year goal. Just keep doing reno and flip, getting chunk deal, and we're happy with it. But after being to the super conference, it changed our goal post again to say, okay, you can do reno and flip as a side deal, but my goal now is I want to become a developer down the track. So that is our other goals that we want to.
And that's what you've done, isn't it?
Yep. So that's what we've done. So now we have 2 different business, and one is reno and flip, and one is development.
Awesome. So could you give us a bit of a list of the kind of like what you've done deal wise? Like what did you do within the first, maybe when you first joined? You obviously had 4 years to be able to kind of get cleaned up from the negative gearing side of things.
Yeah.
When you kind of kicked into it, what did you do when you first started to get into your JVs? How did you?
Oh, well, it's quite simple. We just I love to go to any one day that did not come to Adelaide or the boot camp. So actually just talking to students there to say, look, we can't borrow money because we were still classified as not as a favorable client for Westpac. And because back then I already dropped my hours as a full-time pharmacist, so suddenly we're down to 1 income and 1 part-time. So then I talked to this lady. I said, look, I can't borrow money, but I got the skill. So then she said, why don't we do JV? And then we try to understand what she wants and what I want. So then we work out that reno and flip is the strategy we go forward, and that's how we started. That's how we started the whole journey.
Got it. And how did it work out for you when you first started? Like, what were you making good profits to start with, or was it something that changed over time when you got better?
Yeah, so we get better over time. So I've been doing same JV with the same JV partners for the last 3 times now. The improvement in terms of time frame has improved immensely. The first deal we did, we were not familiar with the council, and the house that we bought in was actually in a conservation zone. So anything that you do, from the picket fence to the color scheme to the carport to nuts and bolts, has to be approved by the heritage architect. So that project took us 13 months, and that brought us into COVID, the beginning of COVID. And that hit really hard. But we still make money, but not as much, because that was the beginning of COVID. Everyone were not sure where were the property market going to, whether it's going up, going down. So when we had an auction, we didn't have a lot of people turn up as we expected, but we managed to sell it. We still make money out of that. But since then, because we fine-tuned our skill, we started from 13 months to 6 months, and now down to 12 weeks. So we literally can flip a property, exactly the same job, from 13 months to 12 weeks.
Wow, super fast.
Yeah, so we actually have improved our process and system. So the cookie cutters is getting better and better this time. So the one before this, we did that in 12 weeks as well. So in 12 weeks, we usually will turn around a property.
Fantastic. And are you, now you've got your own kind of like team that does a lot of your work, does it? I mean, like, and how do you, now that they're on board, how do they approach things now? And
you know how trade is. The language is quite different from what we usually use in the community. So usually when I buy something, I'll take them through and say, oh guys, it's same thing. And my painter will say to me, oh Foong, same shit, different house. I say, yes, different house, but same shit. So my painter know my color scheme really well. So he will not just order enough paints for one job. He will order plenty for the next 2 or 3 jobs. Same as the tailor, the carpenter. They're not exactly where I'm running. So even the tailor, like just rock up a couple of days ago, he said, Foong, same job, yes, same, you know, same towel, same color towel, same color scheme. So then you don't have to brief them too much. So what I'm trying to say is your A team is really important. Like they know what you want, and it will just make the thing really fly very smoothly from 13 months to become 12 weeks.
yeah. And you're not doing any structural reno? It's more cosmetic?
I don't know how you define structure because it is a gray area. If you take down a support wall, you classify it as a structure wall. If you extend it, it will be a structure reno. So we usually try to reframe ourselves within that 4 walls and not to do anything further out, because then you will get your council involved and that might take no end for the time. So we usually just play the internal space unless we have to push it out. So when we buy anything, we always look at the layout of the floor plan. If the floor plan doesn't fit in, we will not go ahead because it takes too long and it's too costly to play. Because usually you only take maximum of 3 walls down. Anything more than 3 walls is going to cost a lot of money.
Got it. That was actually a question from Tim, who's asked in the chat. Yep. Awesome. And then how does it work out for you in regards to, could you give us an idea about like in a year, how many deals can you do in a year? How does it work out from a profit kind of side of things as well?
It's hard to say how many deals a year because it depending on how long the project takes. The quickest one I did was 3.5 days. 3.5 days, we were in and out. And that was my own investment property. Like it's nothing much to do. All we did is we went in, the painter painted 3 levels townhouse. So he painted inside 3 levels. And then we changed all the carpet. Then we tidy up, style it in 3.5 days. So wow. That was a focus. So we cannot go by numbers. We go by the dollar value we bank in our bank. So we average banking about, I think last year was a bad year. We're banking 300 as a total project net profit. This year we are looking at 450, and the year before was more. So, so we usually would base on that figures, but average about 4 to 6 projects a year, depending on how big and small. If it is 3.5 days, we come up really quick. And the other one only took me 2 weeks to finish inside and outside as well. So I don't know, about 4 to 6 projects a year.
Fantastic. Yeah. Awesome. And that's a little bit more than what you were doing kind of work-wise. So are you needing to still work at all? Obviously you've cut down to part-time work.
I only work 5 hours every fortnight now, and sometimes I even reduce it to 5 hours once a month. It's actually not worth going anymore, but I just have to keep my pharmacy license alive just in case. Hopefully there's no in case, because how we progress now and how we move on with our project and the lifestyle, I cannot see myself going back and work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. I just can't see myself doing that.
Sure. Question here, Vitram, in regards to CGT with the buy Renault sell flips, capital gains tax.
Yeah. No, we actually, the profit is been shared as a personal income tax, or depending how they structure that. So some JV partners structure that as a company tax. So there will be no capital gain tax for that. So you literally just pay, for me, I pay personal tax. And my JV partners, depending how they structure, some of them pay as a personal tax as an income, or they pay that as a company tax.
Awesome. And are you using a consultancy trust? That's another question from Mick and Tanja. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay, cool. There is a question about Tim, and I think we're going to cover that one coming up pretty soon on a couple other things as well. Eugene just asked a question: how many hours a week on average do you spend on your deals?
On site or looking up of deals, or well,
Eugene hasn't specified. Fung?
Eugene has a specific.
No, just hasn't mentioned. So it's just ask the question: how many hours a week? Because you're currently on site at the moment, aren't you?
No, I'm actually at home. This morning I already been to site. So usually I spend about an hour or two on site, depending how many sites I have to go. If the site is quite straightforward, I'll be there. Like this morning, I was there for half an hour, just go in there, say, hi boys, how's everything going? What is the plan today? What are we going to achieve today? And then I'll tell them what is lining up for next week. So I'll be there just half an hour to 1 hour max a day. Then I'll spend a fair bit of time searching for materials, and that's how we save money in terms of Renault. So I would search for material and go and purchase that and get that delivered to site. So that's my role. And then I would spend a fair bit of time doing all the layout, the design of the Renault site. So we don't engage a designer to do that, because that's my passion. I like to design. So I can spend up to, like, for the last month, Monday and Tuesday, I spent about 7 hours in the kitchen supply to nut out all the kitchen layout and, the material, what it looks like and all that. So I spend more time with the profession rather than really on site. And that's how I spend my time. And it's quite flexible. If I feel like doing something, I'll do something. Like this Wednesday, I didn't feel like doing anything. So I just stay in bed. Didn't even go. I just stay in bed. The boys rang me. I was like, nah, not feeling well today. I'm staying in bed, not coming out. I had lunch with my husband. And after that, I just stay in bed and looking at Pinterest and looking at how people design a kitchen, how they design. So I spend a lot of time on my mobile, just reading up and just try to, educate myself a bit more about what is on trend, what sort of material, what is the best material. So when you talk to your tradies, you don't sound like you're stupid, because as a woman in a male environment, it is a very challenging environment to start off from the very year one. They actually talk down to you. Well, just put it this way: you are Asian, you are a woman, and you're a pharmacist. What do you know, right? So I spend a lot of time trying to educate myself to understand and try to bring myself to their level, so then we can all talk together each other. So then that how I build up my team to improve the timeline and also together on the same page.
Awesome. There's a couple of different questions about how much time you have and a few other things, but and also about the market being hot at the moment and what do you do? And I think you've got a bit of a situation that came up about a possible deal that came up, and there was something that you did about how a project stacks up. Did you want to elaborate on? I think it was a recent deal that you did. There's something there, especially that it describes what's happening with the market and how you've approached it as well.
Yeah, I think everyone all understand that the market now is going crazy. Like it's just like a trend that just run away. I don't think that will stop in any time. It's just going very fast. So I have a lot of students from ILRE Real Estate send me a text and ask me, how do you overcome that? Like, how do you work out the numbers? How do you make sure that the numbers stack up? There's no how. I'll tell you the truth, because the market has moved so fast. Even the past 2 months sale history is not relevant anymore. I don't know about any state, but in Adelaide, it is that case. So if someone pay, let's say 900,000 2 months ago for a similar size block, same frontage, not far away from where I'm looking at. And if I rock up to the auction, it will not be 900 anymore in 2 months. It will be over more than $1 million. And it is what the market is willing to pay. So no matter what research you do, it's good for a FYI, for your own information. So at least you know where your limits are. But my only advice to all that student is you just need to be in there. Like, we go to auction every week, whether we want to buy, whether we are happy to buy, or whether we can't afford to buy. We just rock up to the site, that the suburb that we target for, and we just want to understand the market. Because if you don't go outside and be there in front of the agent, you are not making yourself present. You need to be there to show them that you are the potential buyer. And to take a further step from there is we always register, just in case. You never know that the market can turn to you. You never know. Just like a couple of weeks ago, this is one house. We're talking about one house away from the beach. Usually on the Esplanade in Adelaide, just for a block of land, you pay well excess over $1 million, not including the house, just a land. So I said to my husband, I said, like, I'm giving up. I said, no way that we can buy something like that, because the house 5 streets away from the beach, 5 streets away, not one house away, 5 streets away from the beach, was selling for 926,000, and it didn't even make it to auction. So someone actually willing to pay 926,000 before auction to purchase that house. So I know for this house, which is one house away from the beach, from the Esplanade, from the shopper strips, like is a big, action-packed area, and to buy that under 926,000 is impossible. So I said to my husband, no, we're not going, because it will be a waste of time. He said, look, just go for a drive. It's a nice day. Go for a drive. So we drove there, and as me, I usually just register just in case. So I rocked out and register. And guess what? We bought the house for 925, less than 4th Street away. And that property has multiple strategy. You can Airbnb it. You can divide the house into 2. So you can turn a 4-bedroom house into 3-bedroom house and 1 studio. So you can rent it to 2 separate parties. You can do a rent and flip. That's my forte. I can flip that and make a couple of $100,000 out of that. Or if I Airbnb it, with cash flow of 25 to 30,000 a year. Or even better, bulldoze it, build double-story house, and sell it for 2 million. 3 strategies there waiting for you to play. So that's why I say you need to be there just in case. That word just in case is very important, because that secure me a beachside house that I can do plenty of stuff with. And just because I rock up, just imagine, like, if everyone's saying the market is hot, we don't want to go because there's no chance. But how do you know if you don't go?
And has that moved since you've purchased it?
Oh, just 2 weeks ago. I don't think we can move that fast.
2 weeks.
I've already done my study. I know how much I can rent it for, because even a unit on that suburb, Airbnb unit in that suburb, already renting out for about $150 a night. just a unit. Sorry, my 3-bedroom house would rent more than that. So I'll work on the worst case scenario of $200 a night, and the back unit is $100 a night. And not only that, we can park multiple cars, a boat, or a caravan if you want to. So and the highlight of this property next door is a sea police. So you are very safe. No one would dare to break into your house.
Fantastic, Foong. That's great. So now that's something that you've done yourself, though. That wasn't a JV. That one.
No, that we decided to do that ourselves because of this multiple strategy involved, and also partly for our lifestyle change as well. So I can bring my kids there during the weekend. So we can do fishing and crabbing there, and then rent out during the week. So we need to work out all the tax, how we pay the tax and so on. But yeah, because just imagine if I had that 14 negative gear property, I don't think I'll ever have that opportunity to buy this house. And this is, and not only that, we can turn this into a PPR project, sell our own PPR, or move out and move into this one and do that as a PPR project. So plenty of strategy for this property, but you just need to be in it to win it.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, love the attitude there, Fung. Okay, so how do you kind of approach JVs? Because you've done a fair few. It certainly is your cookie cutter. So what would you say about how you look at doing a JV?
Okay. Well, doing JV is a great thing to do, because if one party is lack of something and you can get someone to fill that gap, it actually helps you to move forward. And that's exactly my case, because back then we couldn't borrow money. So we managed to find someone who is a money partner and she has no time and no skill. So it is a nice complement to each other that we can join together and move forward. But the key thing is not about finding someone. The key thing is finding someone who you can trust, someone you can respect, and someone is on the same page with you. Because it is like getting married together, or even go out as a girlfriend, boyfriend. Don't even talking about marriage. Because the JV project can be long time. Like the first deal is 13 months. So you have to tough out with someone that you dislike, or you think they are not trustable for 13 months. It is a long journey. It's quite painful, and it actually can break you mentally. So you need to be able to scan that through. I believe we have a questionnaire somewhere from the ILRE real estate, from the Pacific law, that you can use that as a guide to scan through your JV partner. But the thing is, I always believe that the 2 words that I always remember when I do JV is about respect and trust. These 2 are very important to keep the relationship going and make money together. Trust come with time, so you need to trust someone, but the times will prove that. And respect is always start from the very beginning, because if you don't respect each party, then don't do it, because it is not the best way to start, because you start from the wrong foot already. And it can be quite painful, because just imagine if you go into a development deal and do a JV with someone, that usually will last for 18 to 24 months just for the project to complete. And then for the project to sell, will take another longer. So you ask yourself, if I decided to JV with someone that I cannot get along with, can I mentally last that long to go through that? So use that questionnaires, go through that. Some people can talk, but they never deliver. So you need to check their track record to make sure that they can deliver. They say what they can do. And also for money partner, you have to make sure that they can last you all the way through. Because the worst thing is for your money partner come around and say, I ran out of money. Then what are you going to do? And then you need to find a third money partner, a third party to come in to bail you out. Otherwise, the project will just go pear-shaped.
Oh, great info. Now, I've just posted in there as well the step 30 of the Get Started Now program. It has a link there for you to download the joint venture info sheet. So you can click on that if you want more info about that. Now, how is your life different now to before you started?
Well, remember from the very beginning of this interview, I said I want time, because that is the only thing I miss out in my whole life, because I spent so much time selling my time for money. So now I got more time to yell at my kids, more time to yell at my husband. I have more time to look after a puppy. So basically I have more time to do all this, which I didn't have before. So it actually buy me time and buy my life back.
Excellent. But are you now yelling at your kids and your husband now that you have so much time?
Sometimes I wish that I can go back to work full time. My son even said to me, when are you going to work as a pharmacist, a real pharmacist for once? I said, nah, I'm not going back. I can't see myself going back. But yeah, I literally quite grateful that I actually joined ILRE real estate, because that has given me back my life and a family life. That's more important. So even though no matter how much I yell at my kids, I think deep in their heart, I believe that they still love me. Oh, we'll find out. We'll find out.
And if not, you can rent them out for a while too.
Foster them.
So now, did you go and buy a puppy? Is that what you did, or did you kind of?
No, actually, I actually pay for a puppy. It's coming from New South Wales. So it's coming in October. So that is something that we always love to have. But you know, like puppy, like human beings, you need time. You must have time to spend time with them. So this is another reason why we decided to get a puppy, because we can now. We got time to look after something small. Yes, but you know, because of COVID, we can't go overseas and do things that we used to do. So I think having puppy helps to calm the two boys down and make them responsible.
Awesome. So at the moment, you're no longer selling your time for money like you were when you first started.
No, never. I never want that again, and I never wish everyone should do that. You know, like I said to you before, I drive my kids to school every morning, and I can see all these people parked next to me, and they look really sad. And you can see all these people are driving to work. And I just so wish that I can knock on the window and say, look, there is another way you can make money and buy your time back. And not buying your time back from what you have lost, but at least you can buy your time now and enjoy your life.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you. What do you tell others about the I Love community and program now? Because when you first started, it was a bit of a, you know, diving in the deep end and also spending a bit of money as well.
Yeah, I cannot stress more than knowledge, because I always believe that, you know, the mistake that I made long time ago of buying negative gear property, because I didn't have the knowledge. I just listened to what people asked me to do. So that ignorance cost me time and money, cost me 14 years of time that I couldn't get back. I wish I met Dymphna 14 years ago. I really wish that. But looking forward is, since I met her, my life has changed a lot. So money to buy knowledge is so important, because that helps you to minimize the mistake that you're going to make. Mistake is going to cost more than what you're going to spend on your education. So I always say to people, if you can spend a bit of money on your education and educate yourself, that is the only way to move forward.
Excellent. Fung, I think we've pretty much wrapped up, unless there's anything else that you'd like to say or share. Is there anything else? Anything else? What do you would?
Okay. Let me say something to everyone here. I don't like reading books because, you know, me not speak English, so I don't read books. I read a lot of phrases. So I remember I saw something from Facebook. It pops up, and this is from Bill Gates, and he says, "If you are born poor, it is not your fault, but if you die poor, it is your fault." And I always remind that to my kids. I always remind them in the car, and I say to them, if you're born in a poor family, it's never been your fault. It's just unfortunate you're born in a poor family. Exactly like my case. I'm born in a very poor family. But if I die poor, it is fully responsible, my fault that I never try hard. So I have instilled that to my boys, and they both got music scholarship. And I brought them to see homeless people. And I said to them, whatever happened to these people is not their fault. But what their fault is, they never have enough knowledge to empower them to get out of that situation. So that is my only message to everyone else is knowledge.
Awesome. And how are your boys different now to how they were before? Obviously, they were still very young when you first started, but have you seen the influence affecting them?
Yes, I took my boys to auction. I want them to understand what the market look like. I want them to understand the property. I also asked them to study hard and get a good job, like what my parents told me. But I said to them, there are different ways of making a better life. You don't have to work 9 to 5 to sell your time to make money. There is a better way to do it. So I still like them to do the best they can do, but I have already instilled them the ideas of the power of how to make a better lifestyle. So, they know property is one vehicle. They also know buying share is one vehicle. And I just hope that, this sort of property education can be, included in year 10, 11, and 12 curriculum to tell the kids that there are better way than study hard, go to uni and get a job and get fired. You can be your own boss.
And did you end up firing your original boss?
Oh, yes. I fired him straight away. I fired him back in 2014. I'm just like, you treat me like a SHIT, I'll give you back. So I fire him. So it's nice feeling that you can actually fire your boss, and which I did.
What was that like for you?
Oh man, I was so wishing that I can give him one finger salute when I walk out the door. Now I try to be professional. I try to be professional like a usual drug dealer. I just walk out there calmly and never turn back, or never turn back and say goodbye to anyone else. I'll just like, you guys sucked in. You have to work 9 to 5 and wait for your paycheck. I don't have to do that anymore. That is what the best payback to him.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And one last thing, when you were on stage, I think there was an offer that you put out to the crowd, but you didn't get any response back.
Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember. Should we go into that?
If you want to, if you don't, that's cool.
Yes. As a typical Asian family, we're talking about typical Asian. I'm not trying to be racist because I'm talking about myself. The family always want their children to become a doctor, a dentist, and anything after that is nobody. All right. So I couldn't get into medicine. I was missed out by two points. So I became a pharmacist. And when I met my husband, he's an engineer. So he didn't fit into that square at all. He totally missed out because he's not a doctor, he's not a dentist. So back in 2019 on the stage, I actually proposed to people, say that I'm looking for upgrade. So if there's any doctors out there and want to upgrade to a wife like me, I'm quite happy to, consider that as a JV deal. And until now, I still can't find, I couldn't even upgrade my husband. He's stuck with me, or maybe more like I stuck with him. So if anyone knows anyone who is a doctor and willing to upgrade, I'll pay a slaughter fee. Is that done deal, Michael?
Have you put it onto the forum on the website? I haven't seen one. I haven't seen a JV for a husband yet on the forum.
Maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try that tonight and see whether the post will get taken down or not.
For a spotter's fee. Oh, excellent, excellent.
He's all good. I'll keep him for a while.
Good. You guys are doing awesomely, and look, thank you so much for sharing. This has been fantastic. Look, there's been a whole lot of kind of questions that have come through. Some of them have been really specific, and they have been answered, and others are kind of like asking specific questions about stuff, which is probably more suitable for your, about where you purchase things from and so forth. We don't usually go into that much detail about that. That really is all about Fung and how she's been able to create that. So I'm sorry, we've answered a number of them, and I know that a lot of things have been covered in this. You're welcome to review this session as well on Facebook. So this you can review it at any point in time, and we will get it edited and up onto the members only website. So Fung, thank you so much for sharing. It's been fantastic. I really appreciate it, and there's been a lot of kind of real lovely responses, both here and also on Facebook as well. And I mean, like, even just I think you might have clarified as well, your last 12 months of what you're doing is multiples of what you were earning back as a pharmacist or a drug dealer, or
well, depending on how you want to define me, I can be either way. I can be a real drug dealer or a not so real drug dealer. I think but it's I have double or maybe triple my income from where I was before. So and working pretty much minimum hours as well. So I think it is a real lifestyle changes for me and my family. Yeah.
Fantastic.
The other thing, Michael, is if people want to ask me more specific question, they can actually private message me, and they can search me out on the I Love Real Estate site and send me a message, and I will try to answer them back as well if that helps. If someone want to ask more, private question or anything like that.
Yeah, but at the same time, we want to make sure that you're kind of, you're not bombarded with a whole lot of information as well. So yeah, be respectful for anyone who wants to reach out. But thank you so much for that.
Yeah, but I'm free, right?
Oh, and
I'm only on site like 1 hour a week now, so I'm pretty free to help out. I mean, like, with any question that needs help, I'll try my best to help out. I think that's why the community is so good. Like, everyone's just helping each other out. I used to be a newbie as well, and I ask people a question, and no one will say, "Look, I'm too busy, I can't help you." So this is my time to give back.
Awesome. That's really cool. Fung, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you for taking out the time. Thank you for kind of like jumping in and sharing your story. It's been really awesome. I'm sure you've probably seen a whole lot of the comments that have come through. I'm not too sure if you can see it because you're tuning in on your phone. I'll make sure that they can get them over to you too, if you like. We're right on the 1 o'clock, so we've gone on 1 hour. So we're probably going to leave it there. Yeah, thank you so much, and everyone in the community. This recording has up on the Facebook. You can review it at any point in time, and really appreciate you taking the time out today. Fung, do well, and we look forward to hearing back, and let us know how that JV goes for the spotter's fee for that. I'm going to be looking out on the forum for that one.
Yes, you never know, Michael. This is a new venture.
A new venture. Awesome.
That's right.
All right, excellent. Hey, look, thank you everybody for tuning in. Fung, thank you so much for sharing. It's been really, really insightful, and I love the fact that you're in the community and you're sharing as a leader within it as well. Really awesome. So
you're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
And so what did you think of that, hey? Pretty impressive story, hey? Fung's done some amazing things. She's done some amazing deals. And this is what we really love to see within the I Love Real Estate community. Now, just to let you know, we've got more stories just like hers, and some of them very different. And I know that if you stay tuned, listen to the next one coming up, I know you're going to find a story that's going to be able to be so relatable to where you're at, so that you can inspire you to get out there and, change things in your own life as well. So watch out for the next one. It's going to be coming out to you very soon. Thanks so much for joining us. Leave a comment down the bottom and please feel free to share as well. And we will see you shortly, once again, on I Love Real Estate. Cheers.